Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Star Trek Picard, Fake Nerds Watch. This is for Star Trek Picard, Season 2, Episode 2. I'm joined with Michael Karls from the Downright podcast. How are you, sir?
Doing well, man. As always, thanks for having me. Love talking Picard with you. Can't wait to get into this episode.
Of course, and especially when the show is good.
Yep. I agree. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah. Okay.
Surprisingly.
Real quickly, though.
I know this is a Picard Season 2, Episode 2 show, but you are making me extremely jealous with that T-shirt and comm badge. Can you tell me about that, please?
Of course. So I'm wearing my 10 Forward T-shirt. I could not leave without one. I went to a pop-up bar in Los Angeles that is still there right now. I live in Los Angeles, so it was very easy for me to go. And so what they did was, so obviously, if you guys have seen Star Trek Picard season 2, episode 1, the last episode, Picard goes to 10 Forward. It's a new dive bar that Guinan has opened up in Los Angeles, and they opened one, and it looks exactly like it.
Wow.
There are pictures. There are pictures I've taken. I will post them up on my Instagram. They're on my story, but they're going to be on my Instagram proper soon, so check those out. But they recreated the bar, looks exactly like it with all the glasses. All the pictures are right. There's little pictures of like different moments between Guinan and Picard that you can find little Easter eggs. And they had these rotating food trucks. So every day there was a different food truck. And so there's unlimited food with your ticket and 2 drinks per person.
What kind of food?
So this time it was like a grilled cheese thing. So they're like the specific like grilled cheese sandwiches made. They had like cute little things like, today is a good day for fries.
Okay, nice.
Cute.
They put a little Trek twist on it.
Yeah, and they had Romulan ale,
Nice,
which was a vodka cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
That was very good. I don't normally like vodka, but I thought that was very good.
There you go.
And then you could have a glass of Chateau Picard.
Nice. Did you get a bottle?
No, you can't buy a bottle there. So they did have a merchandise place, which was great. It was why I got the shirt. You couldn't buy the bottles because the bottles are only available online. You can only purchase them through the Star Trek Wine website. But they can't. But like if you buy merchandise, they give you like a discount code. You get like 20% off, which is kind of cool.
Okay. There you go.
So it's not bad. Yeah, it was just the atmosphere there was really cool. There were a lot of like cosplayers and people in like Starfleet uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
They had like actors, like cosplay actors hired to wander around and take pictures with people. There was an Orion and a very, very good looking Romulan.
Nice.
And that was
nice.
It was hard for my girlfriend and me to take our eyes off of her. It was just a really cool experience. It's a really, really fun experience. I'm not a big drinker, but the drinks were really good. Fun little names like obviously Romulan ale. There was like an Earl Grey gin that they had, which is like a tea with gin in it. Awesome. Really cool. I'm glad I got to do it. If you're in Los Angeles, it's still around. It's not really.
How long will it be around for?
I think by the end of the month. I'm not 100% sure.
So sad.
Yeah. There's when you
open it again, like for Star Trek Day or something.
Well, they want to do more. I was talking to the person like this was really cool, and they were like, "Yeah, we want to do more of these things." And so hopefully they'll get a chance to maybe not just do the 10 Forward bar, but like other things. So it's in the City of Industry. So if you're in Los Angeles, it's kind of it looks like this rundown place, but there's really nice like buildings in it. And like you walk down this like alleyway and you see the sign for like Forward Avenue, and then you see the sign for 10 Forward.
That reminds me, I went to San Diego Comic-Con, I think in 2018. I want to say it was the last or the particular time I'm thinking of, and at the Gaslamp Quarter there downtown San Diego, there was a Taco Bell, which at the time they retrofitted to Demolition Man.
We were at the same San Diego Comic-Con.
Hey!
Are you kidding me?
Well, I had been before 2019. I had been 11 of the 13 past years.
Oh, okay.
So I had gone there fairly often, And actually, this 28 that con was the last San Diego Comic Con I was actually at. So this is the longest San Diego Comic Con drought that I've been on.
Oh,
Either
pandemic.
way, I mean that. Did you get to go into that Taco Bell?
No, we never. The line was too long. We didn't do it.
Oh, we waited, and it was glorious.
Yeah,
It was absolutely fun. It was memorabilia everywhere. So cool. A lot of
that's
the
cool.
waiters and waitresses, they were all dressed up and things like that. Uh, although it was in the middle of summer and they were all dressed in robes, so I feel
Oh.
like I felt a little bad for them, but it was nice and cool inside. So who knows?
This con
Maybe it was
badge
worth
I
it.
actually got it at Comic Con.
Okay,
So it's a Voyager DS9 con badge. So it's the one with the
cool.
bars instead of the
Yep,
one with the circle.
yep, yep.
Um, we got some other merchandise. We got they were selling some other things. There was like a cocktail book which you could make some of the cocktails they had there. We
Oh,
didn't get
cool.
we didn't get that because honestly we're never gonna make them. But
God,
um,
that sounds like something Riley would love.
yeah, you can find it
Yeah,
online
I
probably.
probably can. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That we got like champagne glasses that say Chateau Picard on them. There's like special champagne glasses.
Mhm.
And then obviously the shirts, which are really cool. I love this shirt. I love it's so comfy.
It's pretty cool, man. I like it. I like the design.
Yeah.
Very, very minimalist and sleek. I like it.
Yeah. And you immediately recognize it as something that's Star Trek.
Yes.
And then I also got a poster that's the new Stargazer. Um so it's like a poster of USS Stargazer. So it's the new Stargazer from Picard looking at the Borg anomaly from the first episode. I thought it was a
You'll
really
take
cool
a
art
picture
print.
of that for Instagram. I'm
Oh
assured.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Good.
I would hold it up here, but I had to dig it out.
Oh, for sure. No, I wouldn't expect you to do that.
But yeah, it was really cool. It was a really awesome experience. It was an awesome day. Kind of out of the way, but was totally worth it.
Good,
I
man.
recommend if people are in Los Angeles and are capable of doing it, it's awesome.
There you go.
Let's do our episode then. What did you think of episode 2, Star Trek Picard, season 2?
I did like it.
Mhm.
I still like the first episode way better, but it was no surprise that I didn't like this as much. I felt like that. I mean, just based on the history of season 1 of Picard, I thought that the first episode was probably going to be the best and would be downhill from there. But it wasn't. It wasn't as like a sharp downward angle that I thought it was going to be. It was just a slight. Just a slight grade down. It wasn't really. It really wasn't anything noted. I had fun throughout this episode. I thought it was fine.
So I loved it.
Yeah,
I'm 2 for 2 right now with Picard, which
there you
is
go.
putting
Yeah,
me in a really
I
great
mean, I'm
place.
I'm, I'm high. These past 2 episodes of Picard have been better than any live action Star Trek I've seen in the past few years.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll agree with that. I was just revisiting a couple episodes from Star Trek Discovery season 2. I was way
Mhm.
too harsh on Star Trek Discovery back then. Season 2 is pretty good. I'm sad where it's not as good. Anyway, I want to kind of speak a little bit about one of the things that's kind of a bummer for me about Picard season 2, and that it is so good. Like we have this first episode where we finally feel like we're in the future that Star Trek has always shown us, this utopian future where everyone's bright and happy and everything's on Earth is this utopia. The weird thing about Picard season 1 that I always rubbed up against was this weird dystopian utopia, right? They kept telling us about how utopian Starfleet was and the Federation was, which is what we've always known it to be. And then there were dystopian elements within Picard season 1, and it didn't work. Like they kept trying to make it worse for some reason, to make it perhaps to be relatable, but I don't think it worked very well. Right? That was my biggest issue with season 1. For season 2, the first episode, it feels like, for me at least, the world that we left Star Trek in and Star Trek Nemesis. Right? It felt
It's
like that.
happy.
It's happy. Everyone's great. Everyone's got a good life, and it's fine. And then the conflict comes from the exterior conflict. My kind of a bummer, not necessarily an issue, is that we didn't get that in season 1, and we're already out of that.
Yeah, but I mean, they only have what 12 episodes to tell this
10.
part of the story, 10 episodes to tell this part of the story. So I'm not terribly upset about that because I mean, I don't want them to have to rush through any part of the storyline. So yeah, let's get on with it. That's great that
Sure.
it is what it is. If this was the old school serialized type of show where you can stretch it out for 22 episodes in a season, then awesome. Yeah, let's explore it some more. I don't want to leave it all too soon.
Right. And
But
my
we have a finite amount of episodes, so yeah, they need to
yeah.
make the most out of it.
I totally agree with that. And one of the things that I really like about the season is how quickly the story moves. And I'm really glad that we're already here where we're at and
Some
at
people were
episode 2.
saying that episode 1 was too slow, and I have been fighting and strongly disagreeing with them, but I mean,
That episode moved.
I kinda got what they were saying to some degree, but yeah, I'm with you on this one, dude,
Yeah.
yeah.
And my only issue is that it's not really an issue because I'm really happy we got to see that version of the Federation, of Starfleet, of Picard, of that world. And the sadness comes from the fact that we didn't live in it in season 1 either, right?
For
We
sure, yeah.
and so like I'm sad that we're already out of it, but that said, I'm really happy with the pacing of the story so far.
Yeah,
We're by the end of the first episode, we're already in this new timeline, and then the information keeps flowing in the next episode of trying to figure out, okay, well, what's going on, what's happening? Here's the players, here's the
yeah.
setup. Brilliant.
It's it appears that the showrunner have a very, they have a goal in mind with all the characters. I feel like everybody is getting good amount of storytelling, and it feels very structured as opposed to the first season where it felt very messy and just
Yeah.
a ton of member berries everywhere.
Yeah, and not even good member berries. Like
No, not at
there are
all.
sour
Yeah,
member
yeah,
berries.
right.
And I was talking about this with this Facebook group that I'm a part of. Shout out to them. But there was apparently, and I didn't know this, strife in season 1. Big surprise, right?
Shocking.
Right. Apparently Michael Chabon, who was the showrunner, was not always the showrunner of that show. He might have been like dethroned
Mm.
halfway through the season, and they were kind of making it up as they were going along. Totally makes sense if you think about it.
Yeah, it does.
Um, and when season 2 had to halt production, they couldn't go into production because of the pandemic.
Hmm.
They made a statement. They were like, "We're going to like finalize some scripts. We're gonna make this ironclad. We're gonna make this tight." And it looked like, look, we're only 2 episodes in, and I understand that I'm very positive about the show right now, and I'm very happy with it. But like, it looks like the pandemic might have helped them really iron out that story and make it ironclad, and to the point that it's
Isn't it
all thought
shocking
out.
what you can do with a script when you have time to work on it? You don't rush shit. Sorry,
Oh
stuff.
no,
I apologize.
like time. The thing about this that I always talk about on the Figure podcast is that like given time you can make anything great. And so like studios like to put on these constraints with these stories that creates these issues that just time doesn't allow them to iron out. It's just if we had more time we would have done this, if we had more time we would have done that. Well, if you give them the time, and the pandemic in a lot of ways was a blessing, especially for Picard, who, like, unlike other shows, just couldn't film because their lead actor was a high risk old man. So like you have to take that time and you have to really like work on it. And if you're not just sitting on your laurels and just thinking that we're fine, if you're just actively working on something, Star Trek Picard looks to be the perfect example of what time, or just taking the time to iron something out and making it work, could
Hmm.
do. I'm really happy with the season so far, and I'm really glad about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so the second episode, just get into it. They're in this new timeline. The Confederation has taken is the world. The world is not good. Q says that humanity is keeping the Earth on life support. Um, and but Q, John Delancey doesn't miss a beat.
No, and I mean yeah, he doesn't miss a beat at all. It's as if he's been with us this entire time, and
Mhm.
it's Picard realizes that there's something off with Q this time around. he notices that he's a bit
Angrier.
he's not just angrier, but there's something that he had. I think he's more terrified at something,
Yeah, I got
and
the sense too.
he is doing this out of desperation. And I mean, you see that he doesn't have the patience that normally comes with Q is a very
Mhm.
patient person when he puts the Enterprise and Voyager through all these different shenanigans. And you see him lash out at Picard by smacking him across the face, right?
I gasped.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just very uncharacteristic. And so Picard is he realizes that, but I mean, at the same time, he doesn't. That's not his top priority right now because he's just been thrust into this. It's not an alternate universe; it's an alternate reality, in the sense that something specific has changed in the timeline, causing this to be the new reality.
Right.
Um,
Q has gone back in time and changed a specific thing
yes,
that has
yeah,
created a new timeline.
yeah. And so this whole episode is basically the main cast has been thrust to this moment in time and this moment in this alternate timeline, and they're all trying to figure out what's going on, and they're all trying to make their way back together.
Yeah.
And amongst them in this new timeline is a Borg queen, which is a traditional Borg queen kind of looking, kind of the Alice Creed cringe
She
kind
looks
of
great.
looking. She looked great, yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess the way that Seven of Nine explained it is that the Borg Queen is savvy to all the like interdimensional type of inconsistencies, and she realizes that this isn't the right timeline, and she narrows it down to Los Angeles 2024, where something had changed right then and there. And so Picard and the people who were a part of this new alternate timeline, they realize they need to go back in time. They need the Borg Queen to do it. I know I'm skipping over a lot. I just wanted to kind of get the full, I
Sure.
guess, plot of the second episode. So they realize they need to do it, but in order to do so, they have to,
Steal
beam
her.
back onto Rios's ship and go on there. But in doing so, it happens to be this day called
Eradication Day.
yeah, the Purge Day. That's what I wanted to call it.
Pretty
It's
much.
Eradication Day, the Purge Day, where Picard is some extremely successful warmongering general. I mean, one of my favorite scenes in this was all the heads of his
I have a note about that.
triumphs.
I took notes this time,
Yeah,
so
did
I'm
you?
prepared because
There you go.
I never do this for Discovery because like I don't really give a shit.
Right.
Like Discovery has so little to talk about that I don't really take notes. But like this time, I was like, I'm gonna watch it.
The floor is yours.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it again, and I'm gonna take
Yeah,
notes. I have a note about the skulls because I thought those are so cool. So,
it was.
there's a new production designer on Star Trek Picard.
Okay.
And he's the guy who, and I follow him on Twitter now because he's the gift that keeps on giving. You should follow him on Twitter. I know not on Twitter. Get on Twitter to follow
Not
him.
on Instagram?
I don't know, honestly.
Mm.
He was talking about the first episode how he designed the new ships, bringing in the Star Trek Online ships, like all that ship porn that we love so much. And he was talking about how that came about, why he came on board to do these things, about talking about all those things. The amount of care and love and detail that this guy puts into his work is incredible. Just look at any thread where he talks about the new Stargazer design is wonderful. But he talked about the skulls. The skulls were not made by him, but like there's the person who designed the skulls deliberately made it so that the skulls would be recognizably their species. So Sarek, for example, is one of the skulls. And they were like, yeah, for Vulcans, obviously, like ears are cartilage, so we're not going to see their ears. So they made their temples elongated, kind of swollen a little bit in the skull, so that because their brains are larger, in the more logical center of the brain. Obviously, the Klingons. I love the Cardassian skull with the hole in the head. Gul Dukat.
It's perfect.
Never been so happy to see a skeleton in my life than Gul Dukat.
I mean, dude, Gul Dukat, and I mean, as much as I loved his character, General Martok.
Martok.
And didn't they also have the Ferengi?
There's a Ferengi, yeah.
What do they call? What do they call the
The Grand Nagus.
Grand Nagus? Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was an Easter egg I saw that I guess there's the Grand Nagus' staff is
Mhm.
in Picard's
There's also a
study.
lot of Nemesis and Insurrection props in there, blasters of
Yes.
sorts. There's a whole bunch of those kind of things in
By the
there.
way, also there's a ton of musical cues from Jerry Goldsmith's Star Trek First Contact. And when the Borg Queen comes out and you hear her theme song, oh,
Mhm. Yep.
beautiful. Look, guys, Star Trek guys, people who are designing Star Trek, look how easy it is to make me happy. It's the little things, man. I don't care about the big things. I care about the small
And
things.
they did it in a way where it wasn't just in your face member berries kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yes, it feels
It actually
natural.
it does. Yeah.
It's not sour member berries. It's
Yeah.
sweet member berries. It's the
Exactly.
ones that you're like,
I mean,
yes, this is good.
I love when he gives the
Ooh,
um how he says, this is so it's very yesterday's Enterprise of you.
Yesterday's
You know,
Enterprise.
these little things that he says. Uh Nice little
Through a
name
mirror
drop.
darkly
Mhm.
was a good one.
Yep.
Insurrection also gets a name drop in Seven's speech. Well, that might not be intentional, but whenever I hear Insurrection, Star Trek Insurrection comes to mind.
General Cisco was mentioned for the first time in
Do you think?
since
Do
the
you think
end
they?
of DS9.
Do you think
Do you
they
think we
got
get
there?
to see him?
Do you think?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't think so. I
Yeah,
think that they're gonna make it back in time at the beginning of next episode.
sure.
Well, no, actually, you know what I think? I think next episode is going to be them out. Maybe we will see Cisco. The next episode is the only episode where I could actually foresee them using Cisco, in the sense that they're in space and General Cisco is in space right now, and like fighting the Vulcans. So I think what's going to happen is they're in space and they have to try to get the Borg Queen hooked up and get back in time. That's what the entire episode next episode is going to be about. But in doing so, they have to fight the Confederation.
Hmm.
And I think Cisco is going to be a part of that. And then at the very end of the episode, they're going to blast through time and they're going to be in the 24th century. And then they're going to pick up the next third of this act.
I could see a world, and kind of how I would like to see it would be that the Confederation sends Cisco also back in time to stop him, to stop Picard. So he becomes like an antagonistic force for our characters to have to overcome. There was also another thing in the sense that 2024 is a really important time in Star Trek history. It's the I believe, if I'm correct, it's the Bell Riots, which was an episode of Star Trek DS9 where Cisco, Dax, and Bashir go back in time to San Francisco and take part in this like massive like labor
Yes. Yep. I remember that
rebellion.
one. Yep.
It's the same year. I wonder if we're going to see some tie-in there.
Man, if we do, then we could see Cisco again.
Yeah,
Who knows?
that's what I'm thinking.
You know?
Now, to be fair,
We could
Star
see
Trek
Cisco, we could see Dax. We could. Oh wow, those implications are
maybe.
kind of.
Now, to be fair, that's a different city. It could be a different month. It could be whatever. Star Trek
True.
has a very, very long history of not addressing important events in their timeline when they go back to that specific time. Like, look how many times like Voyager went back to the 90s, never once
Yeah.
mentioned the eugenics wars, right?
Yep.
So like it's not. I'm not saying I need it. I'm not saying I'm not saying I expect it. It would be kind of nice to finally have a show address something like that, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um. Okay, I want to talk about a bit more about Q.
Okay.
I really love what John Delancey brings to this version of Q, because the thing that I didn't like about season 1 is especially like when we meet Seven, and Seven is a lot more kind of battle hardened. She's unrecognizable as 7 of 9.
Yeah.
And admittedly, that's what they were going for, but I think they went a little too far. This 7 of 9, I kind of understand a little bit more. Like, I feel like she's gotten a little bit better at being the bridge between 7 of 9 to the one that we seeing in Picard. But when Q shows up, it's Q. right? John Delancey plays it. It's written as Q. It's
Well,
just
also,
Q with a little something extra. He's a little unhinged now. There's something
but
else
then also
there.
at the same time, like time and time doesn't really mean anything to Q. You know
No,
what I
it
mean?
doesn't.
So it makes sense that he has not changed whatsoever, except for maybe this one piece of desperation of him, thrusting Picard into this
Right. But
final
that's what I was talking
task.
about with that's what I'm talking about with the idea that like there is no reason why certain characters should change, and a lot of the times these new Star Trek shows, especially Picard season 1, would do it just because it's the edgy thing to do. It's the thing that we wanna do because we're
Yeah,
being edgy, and now
I
we're
get.
not we're away from that, and I'm
Well,
happy
I
about
I
it.
don't mind characters changing because especially after so much time, they have these different character experiences. They just need to, one, they need to explain it better. Two, they have to show us the character development that's happened since then, before then, and during the episode and during the show, which they didn't do in season one, and that's like I have no problem with change as long as they make it believable to the audience and to Star Trek fans that this is plausible to happen.
Right, and
And
that's what I was
last
talking
season last
about.
season did not feel like the plausibility wasn't there.
Right, and that's what I'm talking about where I think with Q, they've done this. They've
Yeah.
done exactly what you've said. And the writing is stronger, and John Delancey is so good. Like I said, when he smacks
I
Picard, I
love
gasped.
I love the goatee. It just makes him more menacing, you know?
Yeah, I love him
Yeah.
too.
Kinda looks like
Um,
Satan.
when he little bit
You
when
know?
he because he's talking to Picard, he's like, "This isn't a test, Picard. It's a penance."
Mhm.
He's talking about things that like Picard's done something in the future, or maybe blowing up the Stargazer really pissed off Q for some reason. There
I don't
is
think I think it's misdirection. I don't think it's a penance for Picard. I think he's experiencing a penance and has to deal with Picard. I think that's what it is.
Oh, you
I
think
think
Q?
Q is experiencing some sort of penance, and he's telling Picard that, and is bringing Picard into it. That's what I
Wow.
think.
Yeah, that could be.
That's what I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because you know how he's kind of like the Riddler. He likes to always just speak in tongues.
True, and Picard and Q and Picard's relationship is a little bit more antagonistic than I think Q even wants it to be. Because I know
Mhm.
Q really like Q likes Picard. Like
Yeah,
Picard's like Q's
he's
favorite
the
person.
only member of the species other than maybe Janeway that he feels like that is actually worthy of speaking to.
Yeah, and so I believe that like something happened. Q was like, I want to go see Picard because I haven't seen him in a long time, and then he found him, and then whatever happened unhinged him some, or he was already, or maybe he's sick because like Picard says like what's wrong, there's something wrong with you, like maybe he's sick, maybe he's dying. Can the Q die? Like we don't know.
Yeah,
We don't
who
know.
knows? Only time will tell to see what explanation they got.
And these are the kind of questions I like asking because
Yeah.
this is what makes this kind of serialization fun. These
Mhm.
questions being kind of given and take, and we're on this journey with Picard. We don't learn anything.
See,
We don't learn anything that he
what
doesn't, or yeah.
what makes the show great for Picard specifically, or these type of Star Trek shows, is when you ask these type of questions, like, "Oh, I wonder what, I wonder what, I wonder what," not clarifying questions like, "This doesn't make sense," or "What is this?" What we're asking the right questions for season two, as opposed
Yes.
to us we're asking the wrong questions for season one because they didn't
Yes.
do a good job.
Right. Um, it's weird because I think the showrunner for season 2 is Akiva Goldsman, and I don't like him as a writer, so it's wild that I'm like, man, well done.
Hey, you never know, dude. I mean, people can surprise you later on
That's
in
true.
life. Hey, maybe the pandemic helped him. Maybe he was able to read up on some more Trek, and be like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll try this.
It's insane to me that like the first episode of Picard has people already calling for a Stargazer spinoff with Rios after season 3 is over, and I'm kind of there with them. Like, yeah, sure. When season 3 is over, give Rios his
Little
own
too
show.
soon. I just all these damn spin-offs, man. There's spin-offs everywhere. Let's just focus on this, and
But
then we'll
why?
see where it goes.
But like Strange New Worlds, why not give us the show we actually want rather than the Section 31 show or the Starfleet Academy show that's been in development hell since the 90s?
We'll see. We'll see.
I'm just saying I'd rather have that than Section 31. I don't want that Section 31 show. I'm not saying it can't be good. I just saying I
I
don't want it.
am going to laugh my butt off if it becomes your favorite Trek show, modern
I
Trek show.
I will cut this clip out. I will make Sparks cut this clip out and I will play it on the episode of our first Fake Nerds Watch for Section 31, and I will play it. And if I say anything otherwise, I don't know what I'll do. But I'll bite my tongue. I was gonna say I eat shit, but I was like, I don't actually want to do that.
Well, hey, I mean, to be honest with, I mean, in all fairness, I thought season 2 of Picard was going to be complete trash, and it completely opposite. So weird things have happened.
Real quickly, I have a note about Loris. It's just a shame that she can't be a series regular.
Yeah,
always got to get written off after the first episode.
Yeah, it's a shame that, I mean, but I understand, and I don't want to have too many characters to keep track of in a short amount of time. So I'm fine with it. It sucks, but yeah, I'm fine with it.
And
and to be honest with you, so like Soji's not in it either.
That's true. I didn't really notice.
Yeah, so they're not in it as well.
One of the things that I
you heard Brent Spiner's voice at the end, yeah.
We do, yes. He's playing Adam Sung.
Yep.
He's got a statue. So that's his character that he's playing in this show, in this season. So now we've got a new Sung. That's always
the beauty
playing
of Brent Spiner. You could I mean, his like the Sung character. You can just have generations and generations.
It's always him. It's always him. I've got. I managed to. I don't care about. Hopefully I don't watch this, but I got a list coming up for Screen Rant, which is ranking all of the Brent Spiner characters, and I was like, can we wait to see who he plays in Picard? So before I write this one, so I have like 7.
Yeah.
So
you just rank all the Sungs.
Well, it's gonna be obviously like spoiler alert. Data's at the top, obviously.
Mine is Data. Because Data's not a Sung, just the human.
Data is a Sung.
No, the human Sungs. Rank all the human Sungs.
There's only 4 of them, right? Eric, Adam.
Oh, I can't. Tell
Alton.
You names.
Alton was last season, and Noonien.
Who was the one that was in Enterprise though?
Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. That's a good episode. Those Enterprise episodes. I like those.
They're very good. I liked them a lot.
Okay. Yeah, so we now know who he's playing. We haven't met him yet, but we know he's someone who's important because he's got a statue in front of Starfleet.
Did you catch Patton Oswalt's cameo as well?
Spot 73. Yeah, that was cute. I thought he got a cameo in Space Force. I watched the second episode of Space Force this week, which is a terrible show. I just needed something on.
I didn't watch any of that. It didn't interest me whatsoever.
It's awful. Don't watch it. But he's in that too. Anyway. Yeah, okay. So you talked a bit about the Queen. Real quickly, so all the characters come together, and what I liked about it is that I like all the characters coming together because it feels natural, right? Their last memory is that they were on the Stargazer together. What happened? And so they each try to figure out what's going on and try to like reach out to each other and find
they all
each other.
have like various ranks within this confederacy.
Yeah. And Annika is the president.
Yeah, and then
by the way,
so she's the guy that she's married to is the real life father of Soji. Soji's character.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know that. Yeah. She could do better.
As president?
For a husband, she could do better.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, whatever. I mean, it was fine. I didn't really. I mean, you knew exactly like when you see his character, he's not going to be around for very long. So
no,
I don't really care. It doesn't matter.
I know. I'm just saying
you could literally put like a Borg pet right next to him, and it just wouldn't. It'd be. I'm just
saying, Jerry Ryan is a babe, and she ended up with that thing, a little gnome. I'm sorry,
man,
that's mean.
I know that this is a family friendly show, but I'm sure that there is a reason why she chose
him. There you go. And I guess this version would be evil. I don't like the small character beat where she hears someone come to the door and she immediately thinks it's Raffi. I thought that was really sweet. Yeah. So Raffi trying to find Elnor, finding Elnor in Okinawa. That was cool. Rios has some of my favorite stuff in this episode. Rios and Agnes has some of my favorite stuff in this episode. is when Rios is at Vulcan and he's fighting the thing. He's like, "What's happening? I don't know what I'm doing or what I'm supposed to do. What's going on?" And then like Seven calls
Well, that
him.
yeah, I mean that's from his piracy days when he just was able to talk his way out of stuff. Just
Yeah,
his that's his skill. So he was able to just kind of just talk his way out of stuff. He reminds me a lot of Han Solo.
a little bit.
You know,
There was a lot of there was one of my favorite things was when he's like, "So what are your orders, sir?" I was like, "What are my
yeah.
orders?"
You tell me. Why do I have to repeat?
Yeah. And then he has one of my favorite bits when Seven calls him. Is like, "If there's anything out of the ordinary that you want to talk about, let me know." And he's just like, they're both like trying to size each other up. Like, Seven? Oh, thank
Mhm.
God.
Yeah,
That was really good. A lot of like a good character beat.
yeah.
Um,
And not only
the
that, it's good character development within the group.
yes,
It actually shows that these people have a rapport. These people are close without having to like say it in some sort of exposition. They're
yes,
showing us how close they are
and
and how well they know each other.
that's also the benefit that season one actually has. Like season one, for all its faults, I've always said that the character work in season one was better than Discovery. It's better than most of the Star Trek.
Well, it's not
It's better
saying
than
much, but I
Discovery.
mean, I still didn't think it was fine. I don't even think it was fine. I think it was just adequate. But
But
in
that's what I'm
season
talking about.
2, they're actually there's a lot of exposition in season 1, and there's not a lot in season 2, and I think that's a obviously a positive in the
Yeah,
right direction.
the thing about it is like even adequate character development is enough to build on. So like the thing about Discovery is that they never build on character development, but whereas Picard actively did. I thought the Picard characters in season
Yeah, I
one
mean,
were good. Real quickly, I thought they were good characters, and I thought they all worked together, and the cast clearly liked each other. And having that just be able to build onto it is just good storytelling.
adequate character development is fine for the first couple episodes of a season, but it continued. The adequacy just continued and was sometimes non-existent throughout most of the season. By the end of the season, I could care less who died, including Picard.
I kind
Like
of wanted
I
Picard to
still
die.
did not I still did not care whether or not he died or not. Actually, I actually thought I was hoping that he would die so that we wouldn't have to deal through another subpar season.
That synth
But
body was still a bad idea.
yes, exactly.
Um, yeah. Okay. So moving on, Agnes has some good moments too. I think that she's a lot of fun in this episode when she's talking her when she's talking Picard and Seven out of a bind when she's being like when she's running her mouth off to the point where the magistrate is like, okay, let's just move on, let's just go. Um, I
It's so
like the
funny that the first husband has so much power. Like you're the
yeah.
first husband. Like what else do you do? Like they don't really explain what else he does.
He's like head of not the head of security because that's Raffi,
No,
but he's like the head of state or something.
I
The
guess.
whatever a magistrate is.
Yeah.
Like we don't our first lady doesn't have a title outside of first lady, but the first husband here has a title, like implying that they're part of the government.
I guess. Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe it's like a first. That's the vice president of the Confederacy.
Possibly. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah. Um. So the Borg Queen has a really good entrance.
Mhm.
I've liked both Seven and Picard's reaction to seeing the Borg Queen for the first time. I thought they both handled it very well. Um, and then Agnes kind of talks to the thing for a bit. Um, do you think? Question: It's not the same Queen from the Stargazer.
No, so actually, that's what I was mentioning earlier. From what Seven said, all Borg queens are similar in physical structure, but they're not like there's several Borg queens. What she was
Right.
kind of getting at. So they're not all the same Borg queens. It sounds like they each have their own kind of hive-ish kind of thing.
Well, it
Um,
sounds like that the queens have like an extra temporal sense, kind of like
mhm.
Elorians do,
Yeah,
that they can sense when things they can hear. Like she calls it like echoes of their other selves across timelines.
yeah, yeah,
That was a neat little
yeah. It's a neat little
bit of
Easter egg, I guess.
yeah,
But
nice bit of continuity to add.
mhm, yeah, but yeah, no, this isn't Alice Creed's I don't believe for a second that this is Alice Creed's version of it. I think it's just another Borg queen that they happen to conquer. Maybe this is just the last Borg queen that they happen to conquer.
It could also just be the Borg queen of this timeline, right? Like it's just a
That too.
different timeline's Borg queen. And
Yeah.
it's so interesting that the Confederacy has wiped out. Like this is the last Borg.
Mhm.
The
And
Confederacy has wiped out the Borg.
they also mentioned the Dominion War, how quickly that ended.
Yes.
And it's like, wow, they've conquered the galaxy.
Well, almost. They
For
have
the most part, yeah, the Vulcan, which is odd because like Vulcan's like very close to Earth, so I'm like, you've conquered like everything in the Delta Quadrant, but you haven't conquered Vulcan yet. It's kind of
yeah,
funny,
right.
it's kind of bizarre to me.
I mean, hey, Vulcans, man. I wanted to also talk about. I think my girlfriend's home.
Hi.
I'm hearing things downstairs. I'm like,
Yeah.
is my cat running the vacuum cleaner? Yeah, I think. Okay. So Picard name drops Kirk. They're talking about time travel technology.
Yeah, they're talking about doing the slingshot thing.
I really
around the sun
appreciate
or whatever.
I really appreciate this thing because time travel in Star Trek is always so fascinating. Everyone's time traveled at least 4 times.
Yeah.
And they're like, and they're like, well, we don't have time travel technology in this future. And Picard's like, well, there are other ways. We can do it cruder. And they're like, well, Kirk had Spock. What do we have? We have the Queen.
The Queen, yeah.
And
I mean, it's interesting to see that they actually both have a vested interest in one thing. They have a common goal, right?
Yeah, like what's the Queen gonna do?
Whereas at the end of the last episode, Seven was arguing like, hey, these are the most vile creatures in the entire galaxy. Like we have nothing in common with them. We need to eradicate them, right? Or we need to self-destruct and kill them, whatever. And here, second episode in, we're seeing that, hey, we actually have a common goal. We don't, and we're going to try to accomplish it together.
If we change the timeline back, you can go back to the collective, which is still intact. But it's funny because like the first episode is like, I mean, the Borg have been, they're not the superpower that they used to be. So it's like, what are they really sending the Queen back to? It's not really the collective as she's
that we know. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah. And they do. And the only issue that I have with this episode is the finale. Is the cliffhanger finale. I don't care. I think that this episode, this plot line is moving so fast that we don't need the cliffhanger of like, are they going to get out of it? We know they do.
Yeah,
we know
we saw it. We saw it in the trailer.
Even if we didn't, like, there's no world where they go back to Earth and they go on trial or whatever. What are we doing?
I think that in these type of like miniseries ish type of shows, where there's only 10 episodes per season, I think that the cliffhanger shouldn't be a thing. I think that each episode should have a clear like mission toward it.
Sure.
Maybe a spin a cliffhanger here and there, but every episode does not need a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I feel like the cliffhanger could have just been them going to the sun, right? That's the cliffhanger ending. They're heading towards the sun, and then the next episode opens with them.
I mean, that's not a cliffhanger. That's just like, hey, that's the end. That's what I was actually just talking about.
Right? Yeah, I feel like that should have been the end of this episode. Yeah. Like I don't, unless we're seeing this magistrate character again, which I don't really care to, and I don't really know why we would.
I think we'll see him one more episode with possibly a Cisco chasing him.
I mean, and that could be like if they know that they're going back in time and the Confederacy send people back in time.
Well, I don't think they know how to. Well, actually, they might. Actually, that'd be interesting to have the Confederacy sent back in time and then trying to stop them.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like who else would be trying to stop them back in time, right?
Yeah. They said the Borg Queen says that there's a watcher, a friend in the past. There could also be an enemy.
Who do we think then?
My heart says Guinan, but I don't know.
But she also said it could also be a what did she also say?
She says a friend, a watcher.
Yeah, maybe
and Guinan.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
Guinan's
who else would it be?
well. There's this thing on the trailer that everyone's been kind of wondering about, which is this like dude with white eyes that just kind of appears behind Picard in one scene. And that it could be that. That kind of felt like more of an enemy, though. Could be a
Hmm.
misdirect. If it is Guinan, we know Guinan was on Earth for a while. Like she's
Yeah.
been sporadically on Earth.
Yeah.
Um, so it could be Guinan. I would buy that Guinan was on Earth in the 2020s.
Yeah. Who knows, man? We'll
Yeah.
find out next week.
And I'm excited, man.
Yeah,
Like I'm
me too.
excited for the next episode.
Yeah. It's been a while. Last time I felt this way was Lower Decks.
Yeah. And I'm excited for the last episode of Discovery because it's the last episode.
Yes. Yes.
Let me see if I have anything more I want to talk about in my notes. No, I think that's it.
Covered a lot today.
Yeah. Good talk.
It was a good talk. Good episode, good talk, good show so far.
Happy with it. Really happy with it.
Yeah, making these fake nerd watches seem really fun.
Yeah.
Not that Discovery Talk's not, but it's just I feel like I'm not being so negative all the time.
Discovery has our Discovery fake nerds watches
what did
have
you
a
call
different
me, a curmudgeon?
A curmudgeon. Discovery, actually, the last episode I called you a little bitch, but whatever. The Discovery ones have a different type of fun. Like I enjoy talking about the episodes each time, whereas the Discovery ones is like on a good one, I enjoy talking about what it means for Star Trek, the parallels to Star Trek. I like talking about Star Trek. On a bad one, I just enjoy shitting on it. So this is nice that I actually am interested in talking about the show.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that'll do it. I think we covered a lot of ground. I don't think I have anything more to add. I'm excited for the next episode. Mike, where can they find you?
What's up? I'm Mike from the Downright Nerdy Podcast. You can find me on Instagram at Downright Nerdy Podcast or on Twitter at Downright_Nerdy. You can also find us on all your favorite podcasting apps. That's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Amazon Music, all that fun stuff. You can also find us on YouTube. I'm sure the link is down below over there too. Every Saturday morning, we premiere our newest episode. This upcoming Saturday will be our 79th episode. We are going to be whoa, excuse me about that. Sorry.
Okay.
We're going to be reviewing. I'm going to be giving a spoiler-free review of the series finale season of The Last Kingdom on Netflix. Spoiler alert! I freaking loved it. And me and Riley are also given a spoiler-full review of the Batman that just came out a couple weeks ago. So we'll talk about that, and we have our normal weekly games that we play. So yeah, that's where you can find us. If you guys have any suggestions as to what you'd like to see for some shows, hit us up on those social media sites, and we'll get them on.
I have a feeling you didn't like the Batman.
You saw my post earlier. That's why
I did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That sucks. I don't like it.
No,
It sucks.
okay. I mean, dude, people like different stuff. It is what it is.
That's true.
I'm happy people enjoyed it. It is what.
It's my favorite Batman movie. It was Batman Begins. And anyway. Okay, so that'll do it. You can find, obviously, this is the Fake Nerds Watch series, which is on the Fake Nerd Podcast channel. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Check out all sorts of things on here. Fake Nerds Watch has other Star Trek Discovery. We talked a bit about that. We have a Star Trek Discovery series that's going on right now that's ending this week. Thank God. And the Star Trek Picard one will continue, and then Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which I'm excited for. There's other Fake Nerds Watch. We're probably going to do a Moon Knight one when that drops. Stay tuned. We don't know for sure.
Is that just going to be Fake Nerd guys, or are you bringing in other people?
I think it's just going to be the four of us, the Fake Nerd guys.
Cool.
So stay tuned for that. We're not sure if we're doing that, but maybe. Look at our social medias. Yeah, we also have Basement Arcade. Basement Arcade, we're currently going through Mortal Kombat X. That's our kind of video game Let's Play series. Basement Arcade Pause Menu is our video game talk series, where Ben Magnet talks to other video gamers about video game stuff. I don't watch it because I don't give a shit about video games. There's also Animation Station, which is about animation, and the Fake Nerd Book Club, which is about comic book series. Check out all those, and then you can check out our mothership show, Fake Nerd Podcast. Fake Nerd Podcast goes live every Sundays. This is going up after Sunday. So we have just talked about The Adam Project, Netflix's new Adam Project.
Ooh, is that good?
Well,
Spoiler alert.
I really liked it.
Nice. Is that the same director as Free Guy? I'm sorry
Yeah,
to interrupt your whole spiel. I
it's
just
okay. It is the same
yeah,
director as Free Guy.
nice. I think I saw
Um,
that that same director has just been tapped for Deadpool 3.
yeah, we have just talked about that in the news Fickner podcast. But
Oh,
yeah,
interesting. Okay, all right.
Deadpool 3 will be directed by him. Sean Levy. He directed Real Steel, Date Night, Free Guy, all movies I love.
Cool.
The Adam Project, loved it. And we're also talking about Turning Red. We're doubling up. Turning Red, which is the new Pixar film. So if you like either of those films, interested in either of those films, check out the episode. We go live every Sunday. This coming Sunday, I don't know what we're talking about. We might be talking about... No, I don't know. So stay tuned for whatever that episode is going to be. Yeah, and that's it. You can find the podcast on all the social medias at Fickner Podcast. We have a Patreon. You can subscribe to our Patreon. You can buy some merch at our TeePublic. We got a bunch of stuff there. I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter, and you can check out all sorts of my writings. I write for Atomic Geekdom, which just put up 2 pieces this week, where I talk about the unfortunate precedent that Disney is setting by continuously putting Pixar movies exclusively on Disney Plus with no theatrical release. I think that's a shame.
Sucks, dude. I was actually just talking about that with my sister, who has a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and she was asking, it's like, hey, Carl, when is there going to be something good in the theater for kids? And I'm like, I couldn't tell you. She's like,
Lightyear?
there's a bunch of cool stuff on Disney Plus, but we want to see it in the theater.
Yeah.
Like they give the kids the experience of going to the theater, getting popcorn, having some candy, watching it on a big screen.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
I'm hoping that Lightyear doesn't get pushed to Disney Plus. I'd be really upset if it does, because I really want to see that on IMAX. But yeah, Turning Red was the 3rd Pixar film that Disney put exclusively at no extra charge. So Pixar has now lost revenue from 3 movies: Soul, Luca, and Turning Red. It's a shame. And I hope that practice does not continue. But I wrote about that practice. I wrote about it on Atomic Geekdom. You can check that out. And you can check out my piece, my latest revisiting the Infinity Saga, which I talk about the Robert Downey Jr.'s cameo at the end of The Incredible Hulk, kind of what that means for the. By the way, R.I.P. William Hurt, who plays General Ross in that movie. That sucks. I loved him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously I got a bunch of Screen Rant stuff. You can check out my Screen Rant link. Let's just look at my name. I have a bunch of Star Trek pieces up there right now. Star Trek Picard and now Star Trek Strange New Worlds. I got 2 pieces up there. Star Trek Strange New Worlds. That's up there. And that'll do it. Yeah, BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter, Fickner Podcast on all the social medias. Mike,
Downright Nerdy Podcast over on Instagram and at Downright_Nerdy on the Twitters. And
there you go.
Yeah, that's it.
Until next time, guys, live long and prosper.